Okay. Hello, everybody. It is May 31st, 2025. The time is 12:30 p.m. This is the State Central Committee of the Libertarian Party of Indiana, and I call this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, would you like to call the roll?
Yes. Chair McMahon, present.
Present.
Vice Chair Cediak, absent. Treasurer Dixon,
Present.
Secretary Dosbach, present. D1 Schick,
Here.
D2 Cotton,
Present.
D3 Avery,
Here.
D4 Lundy,
Present.
D5 Schillings,
Present.
D6 Lomax,
Here.
D7 Glass,
Here.
D8 Haynes is absent. D9 Corinne, absent. Comms Director Andrew Smith
Present.
is absent. Oh, present. Okay.
Yeah.
Missed that one, sorry. Tech Director Schulteis,
Present.
Outreach Director Kokolard,
Present.
and we have guest Greg Hirsch from Clark County and LNC Alt present.
Okay, and I'm going to, thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm going to figure out now how to share my screen. There we go. This is the agenda that was sent out, not in a timely manner. Are there any amendments or additions to the agenda as presented? Okay, hearing none, is there any objection to adopting the agenda as presented?
No objection for me.
Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. So next is appointment of timekeeper. Mr. Lomax, are your hands free?
No, they are not.
Mr. Schulteis?
I'm at the ball field. I don't have easy access to a timer.
Mr. Smith?
I'll be the timekeeper.
I can be, but after 1:15-ish, I will not be as available.
I don't think it's going to take that long.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Smith, you are the timekeeper. Reports. Starting with the chair. Not a whole lot of activity that's gone on this month other than going to the LNC meeting up in Michigan with Ms. Avery Chapman and Steve Dosbach. Mr. Hurd was there. It was a very interesting meeting, which is on the agenda for us to discuss in a little bit. So we'll talk more about that then. I've been working on doing some additional things in Civi. I've been talking to potential candidates from across the state. They're all wanting to run for Congress, and I'm trying to talk them into running for state legislature positions because 2026, that will be a better fit for us than the congressional campaigns. And so that's been slow going. I have resisted the call to be a member of the National Affiliate, or excuse me, Candidate Support Committee. I've rejected that request from 5 different people, and I will continue to reject that request for the time being. Let's see. A lot of the dev work that I've been doing is really coming along. I'm excited to share a lot of that with you guys. Pretty exciting. I demonstrated some of it while I was up in Michigan to a couple people and walked them through it, and they're pretty excited about it as well, but it'll be Indiana's asset. For those of you who did not hear, the LNC officially killed Civi CRM. It is official. They have given the server to Ken Molman, and so the states that are still on it will be transferred to Ken's system. I do know that Ken has already taken possession and is already making improvements, and the states that were still in it are already reporting that there are improvements that have been made. It's loading faster for them. And they're able to do some of the things we used to be able to do. Separate from the LNC meeting, while I was there, I met with Hannah Kennedy, who's the executive director right now. She is part-time at National. Since the leadership change, she has been extremely responsive to me and other state chairs, and our district reps. When I was in DC, we sat down and I explained to her exactly what data on membership reports I wanted and why I wanted it. She agreed, and she sent it to me that Saturday morning. So I've been going through that. I can see where a lot of those issues are. I can already pinpoint some of the data leakage. I got an email from her 2 days ago saying that they had discovered an error in their membership importing from one system into Zoho. And it was a cause for some of our numbers being low. They adjusted it for us, and I think they adjusted it from the other states. I don't know that for sure. But if you saw the membership report that just came out, it is not reflected in that, by the way, because that was for the previous month, and that report was already done by the time they had fixed this issue. It's about 10 to 15 more names, or a 10 to 15% increase over what the membership report said that was just given to the national board. I think yesterday or the day before. Um, However, from that data she sent me, there are still a ton of people missing, including my boyfriend and my sister. Those are easy names for me to spot very quickly that are missing. So I'm still working on that and getting that updated, but they are at least acknowledging that there is an issue, and working with me to fix it. So it's very positive movement on the correct reporting of the membership numbers, and they want to get it 100% resolved for all the states before August 1st. That way, states can start doing positive membership drives in anticipation for the October 31st deadline of membership. So they're working very hard on it, and they're taking our input very seriously. So it's a very positive situation that we have. They're trying to fix it. Mr. Dixon, I saw your hand was up.
Oh, sorry. It may not be that important. Good to see you this morning, Evan. When you're talking about the CRM system for national, and they're just going to bow out of city, are they going to have any CRM system? I mean, they have to have some kind of member database. What are they? What are the other states doing? And how's that working?
So National will have its own standalone system that will no longer be paired with the states, and they're using Zoho, which we had previously used Zoho in Indiana for other things other than our CRM. We used it to replace basically Zoom and Google Workplace, and it did not go well. And we wasted a lot of money and time and resources. It was garbage. And unfortunately, I do believe that they are experiencing some of those same issues at National. Um,
All right.
uh, some states use Zoho, some use Nation Builder, some use HubSpot. Pro
Curious.
tip, the most successful states are the ones using Civi CRM. Um,
Was not advocating a change or anything. I was just curious what the landscape looked like. So that was helpful. Thank you.
One of the things that they do want to do is work with the states. Obviously, if it's only one state on one platform, they're not going to do this. But if there are multiple states on a single platform, working with us to create a push-pull API, so they're getting information and we're getting information in real time. That's on the development plan. I don't see it getting done this term, especially with the budget shortfalls that they have.
They got
Uh,
other problems.
I did become a monthly donor, um, to National. I've been happy with not some of the messaging. It's better, still not great, but it's better. But I did become a monthly donor, and I have a special contribution link that credits directly back to me and AKA Indiana. So if anybody does want to become a monthly donor again to National, please let me know. I'd be happy to give you my custom donation link so that we get credit for it. Um, I can tell you right now that my link already has significantly more contributions than the majority of the members of the LNC because it had one, which was me.
I'm like, that's not saying much.
Yeah, only 6 of the entire board has actually raised money. Madam Secretary, Ms. Curran is now in the room. Okay, any other questions for the chair? Okay, hearing.
Is there, sorry, is there
Yes, Mr.
something on the,
Lomax.
I couldn't read the agenda because I'm on my phone, but is there something in the agenda about covering the donations that we have garnered from our emails that we sent out for district reps?
No,
Are
that's
you,
something that we'll talk about in our training sessions.
okay, okay.
But okay. Next on the agenda is the vice chair who is not present. And I don't really have any information from him to forward on. So treasurer, Mr. Dixon.
All right, hold on, sorry. All right. So, Michael and I got together twice already this month and spent a substantial amount of time at the library together, kind of going through things. And so again, thanks to Michael because it's a lot. What we are mainly working through is making sure I'm pretty up to speed on the QuickBooks and getting the budget, the items kind of pushed through. So updating the books, I'm pretty good on. The next thing that's going to be the big tackle, the big hurdle ahead is on July 31st is the federal filing. And the federal filing is going to basically all the expenses and all the donations for the year up to that point have to be put into a database and kind of submitted. So, that's a few hundred line items on each of those data sheets. And Michael, I was thinking about maybe I'm going to kind of see what AI functions we could use to make this a little bit more automated or easier, but we'll do that on our next meeting. The CFA, which is the state filing, is something that he's about halfway finished with what he has to do with his outgoing report. So when he finishes that up, then I'll be able to kind of come in and pick up right from there. And then that's when we'd be able to open an account. So TBD, Evan, on opening the new account until he has his report finished, which I'll let him speak to that in a little while. But I'm going to give him a few more weeks on that or something because it's a lot. It's a lot of items he's got to get finished up. So we're on top of things. But I'm happy to report that Michael and I have been looking at everything closely and spending a lot of time together, making sure it's smooth transition. Regarding the finances for the month, look, this is one of the slower months I've seen as far as income. Now, I don't have a long history of it, but if you're looking back over the last 12 months, very slow month in terms of both expenses and income. We probably spent a little bit more in bills. I think like $1,800 or something more than we brought in for the month. But if you look at the year for whole in total, we're still pretty much break even. Activity slowing down. We need to kind of drive membership, and we got about $15,000 or $16,000 in the bank. That's it. That's my updates. Any questions?
So 2 things, Mr. Dixon.
Yeah.
And next on deck, I have Miss Avery and then Mr. Cotton, I believe. So 2 things. One, I sent you an email with information requests from the bank.
Yeah, have that.
Go ahead and send that information to him because
Okay.
he can go ahead and take care of us.
Okay.
So let's get that to him. The second thing is, and I'm pretty sure this is what Miss Avery's question is going to be about. You and I need to sit down this week at some point, and we need to figure out what even if we can't make the payments yet because we don't have the new bank account set up to make it easier for doing the transfers, we do need to know what we owe to each county for the triple member money, and then let them know what schedule we're going to be making the back payments on and figuring that out. Obviously, we can't start making those payments or making new payments on what comes in now until after we get into the new bank account. But I would like for us to have that done in a spreadsheet that the district's reps can see. Actually, unless there's an objection, we may make it put it in the public folder so that the county chairs and anybody else who unfortunately has the link could see what the counties have earned. It's not like it's confidential information, but it may be beneficial to the county chairs to be able to see that. I don't think anybody from the public's going to care to go and look, but maybe that'd be better if we made it a publicly accessible file so that they can see it. But I'd like to have that done before Friday of next week. Can you commit to that with me?
Hold on. Uh, so getting give me some time to think about the right way to format that so that we can track it easy. So show everybody. I totally agree with the making sure this is transparent and everybody can see which counties are getting what and when it's coming in. I'm going to ask you for give me about 2 weeks on that though versus one, just so
Okay.
I have some time to sit down and get to a librry.
I was
Out
going to
some
say
time
two
and build
weeks, but I
something.
wanted to light a fire
Yeah.
because I've been getting questions about it. So why don't we say Friday, Thursday the 12th?
Okay.
I don't want to have anything planned for that day. It never goes right. Let's see. Miss Avery, then Mr. Cotton, and then Mr. Schulteis. Miss Avery.
Okay, yeah, that did answer a lot of my questions. But I guess the backup question is, are we opening a completely new bank account? And will that mean that we have to reset up all the counties with ECH?
Yes, but we have their data. So that's just a back end thing. But then
That's
also we'll
good
be
to
able to get
know.
more county information from the counties we don't already have. Sorry, I
Right.
answered that for
I
you.
would like to know which counties have never turned in that information. That would be good to know.
Okay, thank you, Miss Avery. Mr. Cotton.
As so you put my name on the list there. Is that about my request or?
I thought you raised your hand. I thought you physically.
No.
Okay, then never mind.
Nope.
Be quiet. I will actually say this, Mr. Cotton, because you said to hold, I did hold that request. Do let me know when you are ready, and we will get that processed.
Okay, we're just in a point here where we're waiting to see if a slot opens up, and if a slot opens up, we basically have to be ready there, cash in hand to go. Here's our money in order to secure the spot, and we shouldn't find out that until tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually, June 1st is
What I'll go
when
ahead and
everything's
do is
due.
I'll ask Mr. Dixon and Mr. Schulteis to go ahead and send that payment to your bank to the county. And then if you don't end up getting the slot, go ahead and return it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll connect with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Schulteis about that. Mr. Schulteis.
This is more for you, Mr. Chair. I believe one of the recent payments to Switchboard was about 10% higher. Is that a change in our monthly rate, or did we pay for something extra?
No, there was an extra $55. They charged us the $55 to hang the Chase Oliver shadow box in the hallway. Which is really cool. It's a really nice position. Um, but I didn't want to drill into the wall. And so I asked them about it and they were like, yeah, we'll take care of that. And they were like, it's the handyman comes and it's $45 per hour. It took him 15 minutes, but somehow it was charged $55. She's going to figure out why they charged us $55 instead of the 45 and then credit it back to us. So, okay. If there are no more questions for the treasurer, oh, that probably could be. Honestly, Danny, I don't know. They get you with the fees. Moving on. Madam Secretary, you have the floor.
Thank you. I met with Chair McMahon earlier this month, doing some city training, and we'll be working on making some updates to the website and sharing of agendas and just documents in general. Not really a whole lot. I think there was some question about some meeting minutes that were missing, so I'll be reaching out to Clayton and trying to locate those. But other than that, it's mostly going to be updating and kind of like cleaning up how our agenda and minutes go. So that's all I have right now.
Did you submit minutes from the last meeting?
I did.
I don't know. Did anybody look at them? I don't remember reviewing them. Ms. Schillings did?
Yeah, they came in our email. I have them open right now. I save them to each month.
I mean, I know it came. I just don't think I looked at them. I don't remember why I didn't look at them.
It's insignificant.
Huh?
I was joking. I said it's insignificant.
Legit. Ms. Schillings, do you think they look accurate?
I mean, as far as I can recall, they seem to be. There may be small details that I'm overlooking.
Is Madam Secretary, would you like to make a motion?
I motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Smith. Is there any objection to approving the minutes as submitted? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted.
Quick question though, because I know that the minutes from the March convention meeting were never adopted, and I know that there were some issues and errors that needed to be corrected. How should we move on that?
Let's bring that up at the next meeting, or we can do it via email ballot. Actually, let's just save it to the next meeting. There's no reason to do an email ballot. And then I'll give you my notes because I haven't sat down to do that yet, to go through to pick out the things that need edited. But I'll do that with enough time for you to be able to make any edits to resubmit before the next meeting. I don't know when, but I'll do it. I'll give you at least 72 hours. Okay. Let's see on the agenda. Any questions for the secretary? Okay, hearing none, we can hear from Mr. Hirsch to give us an LNC update.
There we go. All right. 2 weekends ago, the LNC met in person in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where our next convention next year is going to be held at our national convention. It was a pretty divisive weekend, lots of bickering, and I was going over some of the minutes posted on the list about the meeting. Basically, on Friday night, the Libertarian Party of Michigan hosted a social event for us on Friday evening. Saturday during the meeting, after we had a presentation by Chris Ruger from California on some things, then reports, and then most of the meeting was bogged down by a lot of policy manual amendments discussions. Most of those passed. I voted against a few of them. Actually, had the evidence suggested how some of the votes, as we vote the way our chairs want us to vote. By the way, Dustin Dana, our rep, was not there, so he was not there. So I did all the voting. At the end of the meeting that weekend, the meeting was recessed to continue tomorrow evening on a Zoom meeting. Tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, the meeting will resume. The agenda will resume where it left off at tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And I expect Dustin will probably be there, which means he'll be the one doing the voting this time. So that's the main things. Any questions so far about any specific things during the meeting? There was a lot we went over on that. Basically,
you want to talk about
what's that?
Mr. Hirsch, do you want to talk about the convention site and the things that we learned about?
Okay, yes. On Sunday, we toured the convention site. That really big, really huge, really nice. Basically, I can't remember the exact number of square feet. Basically, our convention is going to meet in the Hash Convention Center. We had our meeting at the Amway Grand Hotel, which is the main hotel connected to it, but there's a couple other hotels also connected to the convention center. And so when the time comes where you can book your room for the convention, you don't actually have to stay at the Amway. There's several other options that'll be right nearby. But no, the convention space is huge. There's more than ample room. I think there's more room we'll have this time than what we had in DC, in fact. What I've seen. So basically, we toured the place, the best way to lay things out and so on, because I'm on the convention committee also. In fact, the convention committee will have its report tomorrow evening during the continued Zoom meeting. And of course, oh, and also, those policy manual minutes took up a lot of time. They're still continuing. Most of them passed. Unfortunately, and I voted no on most of them, but I'm just one vote out of many. As far as what you were saying, Evan, about them killing Civi CRM, that is the first I heard of that. That wasn't discussed during the in-person meeting 2 weeks ago. So
It was done via email to the state chairs.
Okay, well, I think that's something the LLC should be apprised of, but just my thoughts on that.
Any questions for Mr. Hirsch? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to director reports. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. Oh, no, we're not. They didn't used to be in this order. We're doing district reports. PS, if anybody would like to yield their time and just refer back to their written report, please feel free to do that. And we can get through the meeting quicker. First on deck, District 1, Mr. Schick.
Okay, in Porter and LaPorte counties, we continue to have regular meetings as scheduled. One thing worth mentioning, I think, is that here in Porter County, we've registered to do an Adopt a Highway program. That's where you clean up the highway a couple times a year and they put a sign. So it's a nice position that we've got a stretch of road near the train station north of Chesterton on US 12. So we'll have a sign advertising Porter County Libertarian Party. And looking forward to doing that. Nothing else I think worth mentioning.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Schick? Hearing none. District 2, Mr. Cotton.
Steady progress in District 2. St. Joe County is on the standby list here for booth for the 100th anniversary for St. Joe County. So we're waiting to hear on that. Third Friday events for Kosciuszko County is continuing. They're planning on participating in the parade on July 4th. We have the potential for 2 parades up here in Elkhart County. St. Joe is also hosting a property tax whiskey rebellion event on June 15th. Got the June 16th deadline to file the property tax appeals for this first section here. So we're finalizing plans on that and getting ready to do some advertising. We're going to have computers set up so people can come in and, actually enter in their property tax appeals. St. Joe County has a very nice electronic system where you can file an appeal, if you know where you're going in about 30 seconds. So we're going to be helping people with that. And we're going to put out some QR codes for, hey, tip the party and all that, to help you try to get some donations coming in. So that's what we got going there. And thank you.
A couple of things, Mr. Cotton. First, please get with the social media team. Just talk to Mr. Smith, comms@lpin.org. One, we'd like to send out a press release. 2, we'd like to be putting it up on all our socials. And the next bit on that is if you have a Facebook event from the county party for that, please add the LPIN as a co-host so that we can add it to the LPIN Facebook page. You'll get a lot more viewership that way if we're a co-host of it.
Yep, absolutely. We're finalizing the time slot that Charlie Florence is going to have the business open here, and you can even see one of our preliminary posters there in the chat.
Yep. So let's get all that information and graphics and everything as soon as you can to Mr. Smith, and so then we can do some stuff with it. Give him a write up, all kinds of stuff. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Oh,
it looked like you had your hands up.
Oh no, I was just giving a thumbs up.
Gotcha.
And so time's up for this segment. But...
Yep. District 3, Miss Avery.
Thank you. I really haven't heard a lot from my chairs. The big thing that's going on is we are having Chase Oliver appear at Fort Wayne Pride. That is July 26th. So we would like to have some people come out to be supportive of Chase and volunteer. We'd obviously like to have some donations because we're paying his expenses to get here and stuff. But we're pretty excited about that. I've been kind of hitting a roadblock to find some LGBTQ materials to give out at our booth. So if anybody has any leads on something like that, I would very much appreciate it. And I think that's all I need to discuss.
Any questions for Ms. Avery?
Sorry, I do. Christy, can you
Yes,
repeat
Ms.
the date?
Osback.
Can you repeat the date of the Pride Fest again for Fort Wayne?
It's the day that we'll be there is Saturday, July 26th, but it also runs, I think, the day before that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Avery. District 4, Mr. Lundy.
No changes in District 4, no changes in 1994 or membership. We do have our service Saturday in 2 weeks from today. That'll be at the Food Finders Food Bank in Lafayette. If you are interested, please message me at district4@lpin.org and I will send you the sign up link. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Lundy? Hearing none. District 5, Ms. Schillings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Stable in District 5, Hamilton County will be having Carmel Fest. There's a sign up link in my written report. Please volunteer some hours. Thank you. That's it.
Any questions for Ms. Schillings? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Cotton. Madam Secretary, Mr. Cotton is vacant or absent now. District 6, Mr. Lomax.
Nothing really to report as far as updates in District 6. We do have the 4-H County Fair coming up June 17th through the 22nd. And anybody that is willing to volunteer, please reach out to me or to Larry Silver Jr. Got some exciting things coming down the pipeline, but can't really announce anything yet. So just stay tuned.
Any questions for Mr. Lomax? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Lomax. District 7, Ms. Glass.
We're continuing to have our monthly meetings on the third Wednesday of the month at Centerpoint Brewery. Please come and visit us. I know we have at least one new member join, and there's a possibility of another one that I am talking to. That's about all I have at this moment in time.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Glass? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Glass. District 8 is not here. Ms. Curran, District 9, are you able to give a report? She did submit a written report as well, so if she's unable to talk, that's okay. I'm going to say she's unable to talk right now. So we will proceed on. Next on the agenda is the director's reports, starting with communications. Mr. Smith.
Our communications continue to be reaching a lot of people, according to our stats on Buffer. On Facebook, we've had a post reach in the month of May of 109, nearly 110,000 people. And that's up a rather substantial amount, about 50% from last month. Largely because of two posts that have both had an audience of over 30,000 that got shared by National, one about property taxes, one of them at Mr. Cotton's meme on voting Republican and how that doesn't shrink government. And so we continue to get a lot of engagement. Engagement seems to be much higher when we poke the bear, basically when we point out where we differ with the current president or governor or lieutenant governor, and when we post things about trade or immigration or how the Republican Party does not shrink government. So our post reach has been good. Over the last month, we sent out a couple of releases, one on behalf of the Shillings for Secretary of State Exploratory Committee, and that was published by Indiana Capital Chronicle, as well as all of the CNHI papers, which is a lot of the papers in the smaller community papers in the state, including Terre Haute and Anderson. Also, we've released an op-ed as well, and on homelessness, that got a significant amount of play in local newspapers as well. So we continue to reach people, and I am now more free for the next couple of months. So we'll probably see. I know our posting on socials has been intermittent the last couple of weeks, but we will probably see more regular posting on our socials here. And obviously, anybody that can provide any help, anybody has good content to share, whether it be written or whether it be social, please share it with me and or add it to Buffer, and we will continue to spread the message.
I had something for you, but I forgot what it was. Oh, I did want to state, so that it's on the record. Pre-nomination, any candidate that is a valid candidate, meets the requirements, for candidacy and as a party member, that is declared they're seeking the nomination. We would also send those press releases for them as well through the system. So, just wanted to state that for the record. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Hearing none, moving on to Mr. Schultheis, Tech Director.
I'd like to refer the SCC to my written report and yield my time.
Bless you, kind sir. You get a cookie from me next time I see you. Outreach, Ms. Coquillard.
Of course, it's my turn, and Lemmy's gonna start talking probably. So it's okay. Let me just pick her up 1 second. All right, let's give her a report. Okay, I submitted for your perusals my outreach director role definition. I'm very open to suggestions, critiques, and the whatnot. I did use ChatGPT to help me do this, and I thought it's great that like it's taking all of my previous conversations I've had with it and like integrating it into the things that I need now, and so that's great. So it is kind of geared in my language. If you can help me in any way with this, that'd be great. I don't know if this needs to be voted on or anything at the next SCC meeting, so that'd be awesome. Also, I'm also planning out my 90-day plan and my 1-year plan for this role, and I've gotten good headway on that. One of my upcoming things I'm going to be doing in the next week is drafting an email to the membership, basically saying, talking about me in this role and what I'm trying to work towards. But yeah, so I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Ms. Coquillard. Yes, it does need to be voted on because it becomes an official part of our org chart. So please, anybody give any suggestions or edits to Ms. Coquillard. Ms. Coquillard, please provide it to me by Wednesday prior to our next meeting, the final
Okay.
version that you would like submitted,
Okay.
and then it can be voted on at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Let's see. All right. There are no times allotted to any of the other stuff. So we will move on to the Michigan LNC review, and I'm going to have Miss Avery kick it off with her thoughts and feelings about how the LNC meeting went and what she gained out of it, and whether or not it's beneficial for us to be present at the in-person meetings. Go ahead, Miss Avery.
To that last point, definitely it's important for us to be present at the meetings, because there were definitely times that people on our side of the table and at the head of the table were looking to Evan to see, his approval or disapproval of certain things. Or maybe they were looking to me. I don't know. We were sitting next to each other, so it's hard to tell. But I did not appreciate having 15 minutes to talk about this thrust upon me, but
You don't have to take the whole time. We're going to
I
split this up.
definitely will not.
Yeah.
I will refer to you to fill in them. But the Friday night social events that I don't know if it was actually the state party of Michigan or if it was the alternate party of Michigan put together was very nice. It was a little confusing that we went to like 3 different locations, but it was cool. We got to really sit down and talk with each other, and I gained a lot of insight into what they're going through. They didn't speak badly of my former husband, but I won't hold that against them. Then Saturday evening, there was a fundraiser that the LNC put on, which they often do at their in-person meetings. That was pretty awesome. We heard from Stephen Nicalia and we heard from Justin Amash. So that was super awesome. Larry Sharp was there, kind of emceeing the event. And I didn't hear exactly how much money they raised, but I heard they were very pleased with it. The meeting, I think, has been covered quite a bit. I'm looking forward to continuing that train wreck tomorrow. So that will be fun. It was interesting to see how people interacted and the immaturity that some of them still are exhibiting. And it's not really being reined in, but it is what it is. The convention site, it is definitely a big space. I think it'll be great. They're talking about doing some things a little differently, like with a buffet type meal, and I'm not sure how that'll go, but it's definitely an interesting thing. So I look forward to seeing how it all turns out, and Evan can fill in some more information.
Starting with the convention, one important thing to note is this convention will be 4 days. 4 days of business, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it is important for people to plan on being there Thursday to check in, because the on the floor will start Friday morning at 8 a.m. And not to plan to leave until Tuesday morning or late Monday evening. I do believe the cutoff time is noon on Monday, but that can be extended because they do have the space for the entire day. And as we've seen that before, sometimes things do extend beyond the hard deadline, to the much detriment to the bank balance of the National Party when they do that. I heard that Reno was something like $1,000 per minute that we went over is what we paid in overage, and it was like an close to a 2-hour overage. So that is something important. We did get suite information and we actually saw the suites. I'm waiting. I'll have more information about that probably in the next week to 2 weeks. So we will, have our thing. I think that'll be information that we'll hear about tomorrow, Miss Shillings, on the packages. I don't think they're set up for that. They don't even have the rooms ready to rent yet. As far as I know, we don't have an official room block. They're finalizing the final contract. So there's the overarching contract, and then there's the little nuances that they're still hammering out. And I think that's being resolved and being reported on tomorrow. If not, I know it's short, it'll be soon. It'll be very soon. I was happy to see Rich Bowen is back on the convention committee. He was not he resigned from the last convention committee for DC. But he's on there. Pat Ford is the chair of the committee. Mr. Hirsch is also on the committee. So they're doing things well, and they are trying to get more vendor and booth space. And they are taking suggestions for speakers. They're wanting to have multiple meal speakers to give a lot of people options for what they want to go to participate in. I do know that Russ Albrecht has been requested. He just may not be available that weekend. Something else that I learned is that there is an effort to move the 2028 convention to March of 2028. It would also be a 4-day event, but it would be in March, which means that in 2026, we will need to adjust the state party bylaws and potentially have county parties adjust their bylaws as well, so that we can actually hold our convention in enough time to be able to send our delegates. Because that has to be submitted 30 days before the national convention. So that's a time period. So other than that, Chris Rufer gave a great presentation on the philosophy of human respect as a guiding principle for the Libertarian Party, and something that we should include and adopt in our messaging and the way we interact with people, which is something that we've done in Indiana for many, many years without calling it the philosophy of human respect. We didn't have that term. We didn't know that. It was just something that we were doing. Treat each other nicely and don't let the government be dicks to your neighbors is essentially been our philosophy for a long time. But some of the information that he gave and his presentation was really illuminating, and it made me think of some marketing campaigns that we can do here in Indiana that are literally based off of the idea of the philosophy of human respect, as well as throwing mud at leaders who are being disrespectful to other humans. The meeting itself was overly dominated by policy manual changes that were mostly political and retribution. A decent amount of it was focused on response or knee-jerk reaction to things that have happened in the previous administration of the National Party. But they were, in my opinion, overreaching and stifling to the growth and day-to-day actions of the executive staff or executive committee and the LNC staff, the LP staff at National. I understood what they were trying to do, or at least how it was presented, what they were trying to do. But a lot of it was overreaching and unnecessary, that if you have the right checks in place and you have the right information being presented to the board, a lot of the things they were trying to do were completely unnecessary. They were literally trying to make it so that the executive director had to get approval from a committee to buy office supplies. $25 on Amazon for reams of paper had to go through a committee for approval first, and had to justify the expense. And that the committee would have to present a justification report to be sent to the LNC. And I'm like, that's some bureaucratic nonsense. That's ridiculous. Put some buffers, put some caps, but make sure you have redundancies to check for shenanigans. No, but we're gonna talk about that later, Miss Avery. So that was a major, that was the majority of the meeting. They didn't get to any of the other business. So instead of adjourning and thus killing all of the items on the table, they recessed so that they are properly noticed and have the same threshold for approval, voting or voting down. So they recessed to a date certain, being tomorrow at 7 p.m. I wonder where they got that idea. Ms. Dosbach, you have a question?
Yeah, my question's to both you and to Christy. The comment Christy made earlier was that they were looking to you all potentially for response or guidance on something. Is the majority of it what you were discussing is the overreach? They were kind of looking for, response from you, or were there other items that were being addressed that they were kind of looking at you all for?
I'll say on a publicly streamed live video feed, it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Fair?
Okay. Yes.
The hotel is nice. It's actually it's a split hotel. The one half of the hotel is really old, like 1800s old. The other half of the hotel is like 10 years old. So it's literally one tower is old and really cool. But I mean, they've updated it, but it's got the old doors and the old doorknobs, the old bathroom fixtures. And then the other side is brand spanking, sparkling new and cool looking. It's a nice hotel. There's a lot of food options actually right nearby. It's very walkable as well. Very, very friendly. We had a great time going to the east end of Grand Rapids is where we went to a Haitian restaurant and had dinner, and it was just lovely. Mr. Lundy.
I'm just curious if there was any appetite or discussion around digital voting that will shave literal hours off the convention.
So it requires a bylaws amendment, which has never made it to the floor in the past 4 or 5 national conventions. It's not made it to the floor, but it's in the bylaws, so it requires a bylaws amendment. That's why it really hasn't happened. So that is most of my report from the LNC meeting in Michigan. There were a lot of good conversations had. And I think it was definitely worthwhile for us to be present at the meeting. So any other questions about the LNC meeting? Okay, hearing none, are there any announcements? Hearing no announcements, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lomax. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Glass. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Our next meeting is next month on June something. I can't remember.
Is it Sunday the 20th or is that July?
That's July. That's the July in-person meeting.
28th is what I have.
Okay, June 20.
10:30.
We'll say that's probably accurate. All right. Thank you.